That's right, Matt. I'm here at 4th and Ute, where 6 structures were damaged in the fire last night, and I spoke to a man who says he's now forced to rebuild his whole life after his own home was destroyed. Yeah, Grace, it was like a scene out of an action movie. Bounty hunters chasing fugitives down this street right here behind me, and one of the fugitives turning around and shooting back at the bounty hunters with a gun. And I spoke to a former bounty hunter earlier today who says this was not a typical situation. Matt and Stephanie, I'm here at US 6 in Palisade, right where that vehicle was found by the riverbank last night. And CSP says a child was ejected from the vehicle and is lucky to be alive after she only sustained minor injuries, but the driver is a different story. I'm here at GJPD, where Senator Garner spoke to first responders earlier, and even though there's legislation in the works, he said managing the opioid problem ultimately needs to happen at the local level. Grace, simply put, there's just a lack of water, and when we don't get enough moisture, it's not just our rivers that suffer. That's why the Colorado River District says we need a plan going forward, and it could impact you at home. The case of 2-year-old Samuel Duncan was reopened after Sean O'Byrne was charged with killing his own son Nicholas in late August. And now Samuel's grandmother says she thinks his name belongs on this statue.
I dare you.
You think I should just do that?
Do it.
Can I do that?
You can.
All right, fine. I'll give it a shot.
All right. All right. Here he goes. Yeah. And he is in.
Things from the 4th grade that went up in flame in that house.
Alden Hislop has lived by 4th and Ute for 20 years.
We later scavenged this.
His house, now gone.
This is all I've got left for 20 years of living in 70 years.
All that's left is in this box.
My birth certificate, my son's birth certificate, Social Security.
The fire took almost everything he had.
My records, my CDs, pictures, my high school annuals.
Almost everything.
And that's all I thought about was getting my kitty.
The fire department was just down the street, and that's a good thing because it could have been much worse.
Because this whole block could have gone. We're talking about downtown Grand Junction.
But the fire still took a big part of Alden's life.
It's a big, big hole. It's just a big, big hole.
And his life will restart with a metal box.
So I have to reconstruct my life from this.
It's been about 2.5 years since a child's name was added to this statue right in front of the Mesa County Courthouse. But after a vigil and a moment of silence, one name was added: Nicholas O'Byrne. A moment of silence.
This doesn't have to happen.
We don't want to be here at all.
For a life taken too early.
I would want to hug him. I mean, things happen and it's unexplainable.
Those that showed up to Nicholas O'Byrne's vigil still ask why.
If we could turn back time and change what happened, then things would be better.
Kim says she wanted to show up not just for Nicholas, but for kids everywhere.
It's heart-touching. It's sad. Our community can step up and speak out against child abuse or neglect if they're suspecting it.
For some, remembering Nicholas meant taking action.
We also want people to be aware of the children around them, whether they're in their neighborhood or friends of their own children.
In hopes the 2-month-old's death won't be in vain.
It's an opportunity for us to not forget that the children in our community are all of our responsibilities.
It doesn't come with an instruction booklet on what to do, so when somebody is struggling, they need to just reach out.
In the old days, you needed a lasso and a horse to round up a wild Mustang.
We're here on the Little Book Cliffs today as part of the helicopter gather for wild horses.
But the Bureau of Land Management decided to try a different way.
There are too many horses right now. We're a bit above the appropriate management level.
The BLM says the problem is the land can't provide enough for the horses.
And with these drought conditions we've seen lately, there's simply not enough food for them to eat.
They say a helicopter is quicker than other ways they've tried.
When we used the bait and water trapping before, only some of the horses were coming to those traps.
With eyes in the sky, they tried to keep the young ones with their mothers, and some came out to watch for themselves.
Helping to watch the range, watch the condition of the horses.
Anna is a part of a group called Friends of the Mustangs.
I've never seen a gather before, that's why I'm out here this morning with a helicopter.
If they had to be moved, she wanted to see the horses treated well.
What I've seen is good. It's quick, it's less stressful.
While she wishes the horses could stay in the area, she admits it's for the best.
There's a limited amount of space, and if unchecked without a lot of natural predators, it's going to explode the population.
U.S. mail, not for sale.
A pretty clear message from those that gathered at the post office.
Not for sale. We are fighting privatization of the Postal Service.
Back in June, the White House Office of Management and Budget said the USPS can no longer support delivering daily mail to 157 million addresses nationwide.
They're trying to cut our wages, our benefits.
Dozens of local postal employees came out to protest.
The price to send a birthday card to your mother that lives across the United States is going to cost maybe $5 instead of 50 cents.
But according to a reform plan from the White House, the Postal Service doesn't have a very good track record, losing $2.7 billion just last year. But workers insist it would do more harm than good to privatize.
If it privatizes, they will stop delivering mail to the very rural areas or inner cities and the large cities. The prices will go up.
The concern is that mail delivery will get less and less.
Grand Mesa, Fruita, Palisades, some of those areas won't see service but 3 days a week, maybe.
And Postal Service workers say the proposal is flawed.
If you lower the wages and higher the prices of the products, obviously it looks like there's more money going in there.
America's going to lose one of the best services they have if we lose the Postal Service or they privatize it.
About 3:30 this morning, we heard this commotion underneath of the house.
Sue owns Pigasus out in Mac, a pig sanctuary. And early in the morning, she found a visitor.
Somebody just opened the gate and dropped it off.
An abandoned pig let loose.
It evidently stayed hid under the house because it was scared, and we did not see it.
The pig broke a water line under the house and went after another older pig.
Just turned 18 this summer.
What Sue found later was grim.
She was laying on the ground, dead.
And that wasn't the only victim.
Another pig had its ear ripped up and had some blood on it.
Sue says whoever dropped off the abandoned pig mixed it in with the wrong crowd.
Whomever left this pig put it in with our elderly arthritic pigs.
The pigs are separated for a reason.
It's the only place that it could go was under the house to get away from everybody else that was ganging up on it.
She's not upset with the pig.
You can't blame the animal for what has happened because it's instinct.
And says the blame lies with the person who dropped it off so callously.
You have to blame the human.
Now, Sue wants justice for herself and the pigs.
At least admit that they did it and deal with it accordingly.